Yo, what's going on? I think this is the first time. It's the first time I think I've ever done a stream and it's daylight. Like I've actually got daylight. First time in what, 4 years? Oh, good. Good God. How you all doing? You all right? I've just had a nice shower. I've made myself a cup of tea. We're going to be rolling for about an hour and a half. So just give me a second and we'll get cracking. Welcome everyone. Welcome to the show. Hope you're all doing all right. Um, yeah. I just thought I'd come on a little bit earlier today, so I hope you're all doing all right. How you doing, kids? Seven? Everyone doing all right? Everyone feeling nice? Tell you one thing, I think the old hay fever's coming back because I've been sneezing like crazy today. Been sneezing like absolute madness, and it just won't stop. I made a wicked tandoori chicken last night, which came out really good. So I enjoyed that. I've still got some left over actually, and I've done a lot of rice with it. Good afternoon. Just finished planting veg seeds and Hal started. Well, you're a bit lucky then, really, that you've just missed it then. That was a bit of luck, weren't it? Good stuff, good stuff. Right, let's get our headphones. Yeah, we've got loads of bits we can go through, so we'll kind of play it by ear. How you doing, Species? You all right? You feeling good? Feeling sexy. Do you like my sexy body? Are all those lights on? Echo, turn on lights. Echo, turn on lights. Okay. Thank you. Or am I talking to a machine? I don't know. The story of my life, ain't it? Right, okay, so let's just get a few things before we get cracking and everything else. So this week, Friday and Saturday, I won't be here Friday. So if anyone asks, I'm not here Friday because I'm going to a concert Friday night with my sister. Then Saturday, I'm probably going to live stream if I get up early enough to go London because it's Chinese New Year. And you know me, I do love the old Chinatown, don't I? So I'm looking to go up there on Saturday. Between now and then, it will just be this sort of stuff. We'll just be rolling and whatever happens, happens. So today I was going to start off with the... I'll save that video there 1 second. The time available. Yeah, I'll save that one. And I was going to jump into the Epstein stuff. Let me just open that. No, I'm not a robot. We've got that stuff there. Yeah, we've got that all there. And I want to go through this as well. And then we can kind of go from there. Right, videos. One more tab to open, 1 second. They're in the hothouse, so they have no chance. And I've got 3 hunting cats. Oh my God. Gotta love cats though. I love cats. Don't I? Absolutely love them. I do love me a cat. Do love me a cat. Right, let me move that out of the way. What's this one up here? Speaker's corner. No, I'll save that. The Epstein stuff, the Cobra stuff. We'll do that underneath that. We've got more than enough. Yeah, we've got more than enough. Right. Okay, well, we'll start off with a couple of video bits, get us rolling, and we'll go from there. Let me just double check that. Is that all right? That's all right. I think we're good, aren't we? I think we are good, my friends. I think we are good. Oh, I'll tell you what I haven't done. I haven't opened up the chat box. Pardon me. Let me just open that up a second. Yeah, you're there now. And chat, you should appear up there now, above my TV. Come on, Mr. Chat. Hello. Hello, Derek. How you doing, man? Just double check that that's working. It should be. Yeah, it's all good. Right, we're good to go. Headphones, and we will get rocking and rolling, won't we? He loves cats, but totally pro-Islam stance towards dogs. Oh, shut up. I love dogs as well. The question was, do I like cats as much as dogs? I love cats more because they're rude, they're arrogant. And I could swear, but you told me, don't swear on here. Don't swear, you've got to be polite. Right, okay, let's roll. Let's roll, kids.
Nearly
So we're going to
7
start.
years after Jeffrey Epstein was found unresponsive.
We're going to start with a couple of article bits and bobs, and then we'll get stuck into the meat and two veg, as they say.
In his New York jail cell, fresh document releases are raising new questions about what really happened. Here are the 5 biggest mysteries. First, why would he want to die by suicide? Just 2 weeks before his death, Epstein reportedly told a prison psychologist, quote, "I have no interest in killing myself, and I would never do that to myself," end quote.
We know that.
He was described as future-oriented and believed he would get bail, yet officials ruled that he died by suicide. Critics say his...
So who done it then? Which side done it? Was it Democrats? Was it the Jewish people? Was it the Muslims? Who done it?
Doesn't quite square with that conclusion.
All good species. That's a good point. That's a good point. Before we do get into the meat and two veg, let me just grab... Have I got a yoghurt here or something? Because I haven't actually eaten anything. I have. Let me get a spoon. 1 minute. I think we've got everything. Smoke, blueberry, a Red Bull, a cup of tea. Let me just put on my nice incense thing so we can have a nice, go for like the cherry flavour smell today. And my vape, we're good to go. I should have been a bit more prepared, I'm sorry. It's just all the excitement. Right, here we go. How you doing, Marty Mass? How you doing, mate? Just got back from a cruise. Oh, nice. Lovely.
Second, why was the date of his death initially wrong?
Well, we're just doing some Epstein bits and bobs.
A statement from the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office was dated August 9, 2019, a day before he was actually found unresponsive on August 10. The Justice Department has reportedly called it a typo. But for skeptics, it's another inconsistency in a case already riddled with gaps. Third, why do some experts claim he was murdered? Lawyer Spencer Coven, who met Epstein several times, says the evidence is, quote, circumstantial but overwhelming that it was not suicide, end quote.
Come on.
And Dr. Michael Baden, who observed the autopsy, claims the neck fractures were more consistent with strangulation than hanging. The official medical examiner stands by the suicide ruling, but doubts persist. Fourth, who was the mystery orange figure? Newly released FBI files describe a flash of orange moving up the stairs near Epstein's cell.
You love to cruise. I think we mean different things here. You mean cruise like cruise for women or boys, don't you?
The night he died. One report suggests it could possibly have been an inmate. Another says it may have been a corrections officer. That appears to contradict...
Who do you lot actually think done it? Because I don't think he done it himself. Who do you actually think done it?
Earlier public statements that no one entered the area. And fifth, internal review notes claim that jail staff allegedly staged a decoy body in a white vehicle so reporters would follow it, while Epstein's real body was transported separately.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Officials have not publicly confirmed that claim, and the official verdict remains suicide.
Like, is he really dead? Like, that's one theory, isn't it, that's been going around. Is he really dead, or is he in Israel? I think he's probably dead, but I don't know.
But with broken cameras, missed checks, disputed autopsy findings, and now millions of newly released documents, the questions surrounding Jeffrey Epstein's death.
So this is what came out in the last 12 hours. So this is probably just going to be like an update on the files that we know about, but I want to check it out anyway. US Attorney General Pam Bondi has released a list containing names of over 300 high-profile individuals mentioned in the Epstein files. In a letter released by Bondi and Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche, they announced all of the Epstein files have been released, which that in itself is a lie. I'm not sure he's dead, says Marty. With all of the people we could take down, he's dead. Yeah, see, we've got two varying views there. Bondi and Blanche did know that privileged material is still withheld due to government officials and politically exposed individuals appearing in the files, but is that not the point, is to get justice for these victims? So why are they holding it back? Release them all. They should all be out. The latest release was in accordance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. In accordance with the requirements of the Act and as described in various department submissions to the courts of the Southern District of New York assigned to the Epstein and Maxwell prosecutions and related orders, the department released all records, documents, communications and investigative materials in the possession of the department that relate to any of 9 different categories. It's saying a lot without saying anything. Sorry, Pam. Evening, TF. What's happening? She actually looks really pretty there in the middle, Melania. I've not been really attracted to her. She looks quite nice there. Included in the list are names previously reported such as US President Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Bill Gates and Woody Allen. Okay. But we know that Woody Allen's a bit of a weirdo though, because didn't he marry his nanny? Like, not his nana, but like his, babysitter for his child, and she was like 20 or even younger than that. Other names not previously covered but are listed include Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, Kurt Cobain, Prince Harry, Robert De Niro and Bruce Springsteen. All the people that are conveniently very, very anti-Trump. Isn't that weird? Yeah, I'm with you, Dirk. She's dropped the ball. Or she could drop my balls. Further individuals included former Vice President Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Beyonce, and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and Jay-Z. The inclusion of these individuals in the files does not imply any wrongdoing or direct contact with the man Epstein himself. Oh, it's his adopted daughter. That's even... Oh. According to the letter, several individuals had extensive direct email contact with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. I looked that up yesterday, actually, because of all the times Trump was in the Epstein files. Apparently, in the stuff that's been released, there's no direct emails from him to Epstein and vice versa.
Nigel Farage as Prime Minister. How does that sound?
Was that really the end? That can't be right. He must have done that by accident. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Did we do that much? We was about here, weren't we? Sorry about that. According to the letter, several individuals had extensive direct email. Yeah, that's where we was at, sorry. But then if they're not releasing everything and they're claiming they've released everything, we don't know what else is there, you know what I mean? Others in the files were in a portion of a document, including press reporting that on its face is unrelated to the Epstein files. In the letter, Bondi and Blanche emphasised that records were not withheld due to the embarrassing nature or political sensitivity of an individual's inclusion. But that's not really... It's still sort of beating around the bush, isn't it? No records were withheld or redacted on the basis of embarrassment, reputational harm or political sensitivity, including to any government official, public figure or foreign dignitary. Former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney claims he was surprised after Bondi announced all the Epstein files were released, because they're clearly not. And it does make sense. Do you know, it doesn't make sense. When you say they're all released, then they say in the same statement, but we're holding stuff back. Well, then they're not all released then, are they?
Let's talk about the Epstein files. Joining me live now is former White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney.
Right.
The reverberations, Mick, continue.
Because I want to hear what they're saying.
The Attorney General has said all the files have been released,
Boom.
so not to expect any more?
That's apparently what the administration is saying here in the last 24 hours, Laura. We were all
It was all redacted, yeah.
When the Attorney General put that statement out, because we had been led to believe previously that about half of the documents still existed. There were roughly 3 million documents that had not been produced yet, 3 million that had.
I mean, look, I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of people are kind of peed off with Bondi, but it's not down to her. She's the puppet, isn't she? You know, it's the puppet master that controls everything. I like her because regardless of whether you're on the left or right, she's loyal to a T. It's not often you meet someone. Again, I'm not saying she's right in not putting stuff out. She should put all of the stuff out, but she's loyal to Donald Trump, and it's very, very rare. I just worry for her sake, just as on a human being level. I think the time's going to come where she's going to get thrown under the bus. Do you understand? So she's kind of taking all the bullets so it doesn't go to him. But I think she's going to be the one who gets thrown under the bus and ends up in jail.
And then the Department of Justice came over the weekend and said that it's over, that they're not going to produce any more documents. I'm not sure that's the end of the story, Laura. The piece that you've just played, it will be repeated again and again, not just with that young woman, but with dozens of others. I don't see this going away. And I'm not sure how the...
I do. I was watching some videos with you, with Pam Bondi last night, some of her other disagreements with Congress and in the Senate and stuff like that, because I hadn't really seen much other than this big thing last week. And I when she was getting appointed, they were all asking her on camera whether she would look to do the same as what they did to Trump, you know, where they were trying to get him jailed, the Russiagate and all of that stuff. And they were asking direct questions, and she was just literally, like, even then, before he was elected, like he hadn't even won yet, she kind of said, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything. So I know it's whether you like her or dislike her, but
the overture
that's
from the DOJ
loyalty,
saying,
man.
well, there's nothing more to see here. Whether or not that's going to be well received. In fact, it has been well received here in the last couple of hours.
Yeah, Leanne. Yeah, are you talking about the stuff with the computer where they set it up and watch the computers? Because again, this is the problem, isn't it? Is when they do these things in Congress, it's Republicans versus Democrat, and I think they've got it. Both sides have got it very, very wrong on this instance, because this isn't about them. This isn't about you being the hero or whatever. This is about getting justice. This particular instance, they should all be on the same page.
Yeah, right. So she's saying there's no more files, just no more files that require being released under the under Congress demanding them.
That's exactly what she's saying. Of course, the two authors of the bill, two congressmen, one.
So here's a question then. So say Trump, I'm going hypothetically, say Trump is in the second batch that's not going to come out, and the reason it's held back because he's in it and it's got wrongdoing in it. Let's just say that there is. Then let's just say, I'm going to make it up, AOC runs as a Democrat, and let's just say she wins the next election and Trump fades away. Will the Democrats then, because they will have access to all of this, will they then open it and go into everything? I don't think they will. Do you know why? Because if he's guilty of any wrongdoing, which I'm not saying is likely or not likely, I think there's a possibility. There's also the possibility that a lot of Democrats are in there. We're talking like the Clintons, Obama, and I'm not saying that they're guilty of it, but there's a reason those names have been blacked out. It's a lot of people in positions of power. So if he goes down, he's going to take the whole bloody ship down with him. Do you see what I mean? That's the problem we're at.
Exact opposite. They spent most of the day today here Sunday on television talking about Epstein. There are various Republicans now who have started to demand additional documents. These are folks who used to be allies of
I think
Donald
it should
Trump.
all be out.
Many of
You
them
know
are
what I
running
mean?
For other office. Some of them have had sort of a parting of the ways with Donald Trump, but there are Republicans now who are being more and more vocal about seeing more documents. That's why we were all a little
That's
bit...
Michael Bolton on the right. No, not Michael Bolton as well. I don't think it is in the files, but I do think he is using it as leverage. Maybe. Yeah, I've got this feeling that I like Trump. I do like Trump. But we never know with anyone, do we? So I think regardless of the outcome, it should all come out. Like regardless of the circumstance, everything should come out.
Over because I'm not sure anybody
the world
other than
needs
the
it to come out.
Believes that to be true.
No, that's right. And we've had a flurry of activity. We've had Ghislaine Maxwell say that she wants to do a deal with Donald Trump to essentially exonerate him in the eyes of the public. Bill and Hillary Clinton wanting to testify openly.
I think from what we know, like if we're going on just not by feelings, yeah, going by what we know, I think the only person so far that I personally believe is 100% definitely involved, that's confirmed that they were there, is Bill Clinton. That's my opinion, because we had the stuff with Monica Lewinsky, and we've seen some really weird pictures of him in showers and baths and all of this kind of stuff. And I also think Hunter Biden is another one that I would personally say they're definitely part of whatever it is. And that's
When
not
it
just
comes
because
to,
they're left or
their
right, but they're the only
involvement
two
or
that I've seen. I
otherwise.
go,
Any
right, there's
progress
enough
on either
there.
of those two fronts?
Yeah, the Congress is out of session this week, neither the House nor the Senate is in Washington, D.C., so we don't expect any real advance on the Clinton situation. But that was fascinating, because keep in mind what happened is that the Republican-led committee demanded that the Clintons show up and testify. The Clintons did not. So the Republican-led committee had a motion to hold them in contempt, and many Democrats voted for that. So there was a movement starting.
Like if he gets done, I'd rather him be done for the stuff with the prostitution and stuff like that. You can go, yeah, it's wrong, you know, funds, money being spent in places, you know, you shouldn't be doing that, blah blah blah. I would actually be really sad if it did lead to the case and he did truly do these things. If he did truly, and he was truly, I'd like to think he didn't, but I don't. None of us know. No one will ever probably know.
To hold the Clintons in contempt of Congress, which could, in theory, have ended them up in jail. Then the Clintons turned around and said, okay, we'll be happy to show up and testify, but it's going to be public, not private. That's an amazing sort of chess move by the Clintons to challenge the committee to go ahead and have this testimony in public. It's not been resolved yet. I don't think we'll get resolved this week, but yes, you're right. This is yet another piece of this Epstein puzzle that will continue to play itself out in the coming days and weeks.
It's really interesting because when you talk about the swamp and the political class, this is
What up,
exactly
Rex?
where Epstein's playground was. We fast approach the midterms in November this year. What's the political calculation here? Is it seen as something that might affect, you know, Republicans?
Yeah,
and
well,
the Trump base, or might that be, you know, evenly split?
This is what's going to be funny. That's why I'm saying, if and when the Democrats get into power next, if this stuff doesn't come out, the general public are going to demand that from the Democrats, and there is no way they're going to release this stuff. They're all saying it now because they know that it's not going to be released. That's another thing that people are not really speaking about, because they had that time under Biden. They could have done it then, and they refused to. So just because Trump has brought out a specific amount, if they get into power, it doesn't automatically mean they're going to go, oh, we're going to open it now. They won't. None of them will.
Sprayed across the board and affect the Democrats as well.
Yeah, Laura, the reason I have this pained look on my face is that I'm still of the opinion that the economy is going to be the overwhelming issue in the midterms, followed possibly by immigration. I just don't see people changing their voting patterns based upon Epstein. What it does, and the challenges it creates specifically for Republicans, is this. If I'm a Republican running for office, and I have several times, and I'm taking...
do you know what it is? I think I know I piss a lot of people off the way I cover a lot of American topics and the way my views are, but like for anyone who's watching who's a liberal, when they say, oh, you're far right, and I'm not far right. I'm not saying I was going to just say no, I'm right, but I have the mindset of I am right leaning, 100% right leaning. If Trump was in England as our leader, I'd be over the moon. I'll be honest, I'd be over the moon. I like Trump. Does that mean that I believe everything he says? No, I don't. But then I don't believe anything of anyone who's in that position, what they say. But I'm also very, very logical, and that pisses people off. Because even then, I was saying just now, if he's in there, and if he's guilty of those things, they should all be in jail. They should get the full punishment. But I think it's so big, and it's always been my view, and it's why I haven't covered the Epstein files in great detail, because my honest belief, without evidence, my honest belief is that it is not Trump, I'm saying, but it is the likes of someone in that position. It is the likes of someone in our Prime Minister's position, the people that probably run the Super Bowl, the people that probably run MTV, the people that run Warner Brothers, Fox, Disney, everyone you can possibly think of, record labels, TV, banks. If all of that stuff was public, say it dropped right now, and it's our Prime Minister, it's the people on the other side of the party, it's 50% of the Democrats, half of the Senate. Could you imagine the world meltdown? You know what I mean? Could you imagine if it is that big? And I believe that it is. I haven't got nothing to prove that, but that's my belief. And I think that's why it will never come out. You're talking, you know, imagine if it came out right now. Trump is on video doing this to a kid. Taylor Swift is there. Ellen DeGeneres, Kanye West, Kim Kardashian. Like, imagine if it's those kinds of people everywhere. The world, I don't think the world can handle that. I can, you can, we're sitting here talking about it. We want to know. But I don't think your average Joe out there that goes to work 9 to 5, working in a garage or works in Walmart in the United States, I don't think your average Joe can handle that. I don't think that can, you know what I'm saying? Did he?
Different than my
you don't know, you know what I mean? Could be anyone.
Voters are going to want to know why. Why are you disagreeing with the president that we voted for? Or swing voters might know why you're agreeing with the president.
Imagine this isn't just Epstein. You know, I'm going on hypotheticals because that's all we can do. You know, we can assume things. Say all of this is not just Epstein. What if there was someone doing this role before he was there? And it goes back to the First World War, Second World War, and it's Churchill and Adolf, and I don't know. None of us know, like, how big this is. And I think that is why it could be going back to the Kennedy thing. I don't know. None of us know. That's what's scary about it.
The president and members of his party who are running for re-election, that always creates difficulties out on the campaign trail and tends
You're right,
to
Curtis,
lead to lower vote turnouts, which in very, very tight elections can be determinative. So, yeah, it will have an impact, but I think it's sort of secondary. If the economy is good, Republicans would do well. If the economy is not doing well, they won't. I don't think Epstein changes that very much.
Corporate America and some of the key figures in these files seem to have taken the biggest hit here. I mean, there's been a flurry of resignations, hasn't there?
There has been a flurry of resignations, but there's something else that's on my mind as well, because I've had a lot of time to like with you guys to process this and think about things. And the one thing I'm actually confused about is the first files were released 6 months ago, probably. I don't know, whatever it was. Then the files that were released, say, a month ago. So over the last 8 months, you've had all of this information come out. The one thing I'm very, very surprised about is that they haven't scapegoated anyone, because I thought, well, if the Epstein files all come out and there's 100 people in there that are famous, you've got to, if it was me being in a corrupt position, you've got to set up 3 or 4 people and go, they're going to take the fall. That'll keep the public happy. You know what I mean? Like, there's the 3 big names, 4 big names. Epstein's gone, they're the 4, and everything else can be covered up. I'm surprised that hasn't happened. Like, I know they're going to say that, you know, people have left their jobs and all that. That's not doing any good.
Pressure on governments overseas.
Yeah, you're right, Vienna.
Business people here in the United States. There was I don't know the gentleman's name, but he owns a large talent agency in California. He's on the board of directors of the LA 28 Olympics, and just announced he was going to sell his business outright in order not to become a distraction, because he's in the file as well. So no,
I think is that the MC2 one, the agency, the modeling agency, that might be.
The web is amazing. I had no idea, by the way, until I saw that clip that you just played, that Epstein's web extended to South Africa. It's worldwide, and again, there were 3 million documents released.
There's a lot of ifs and a lot of allegedly, and I've realised I've got to say that all of the time. But without my playing the middle ground logic card, if you want my honest opinion, I think that it would bring the world to its knees, because it would shock me, but it wouldn't. You know what I mean? It would shock me, but it wouldn't. If it came out that it was all of our favourite actors, Robert De Niro and Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, I wouldn't really be surprised. Not in a horrible way. Like, I like all of them as actors. I think they're fantastic. But I wouldn't really be surprised. But if it's as grim and as gruesome as what people say online and what some of these... Yeah, I do agree with you, Fiona, but I just don't think people are ready for it. I don't think society is ready for it. Could you imagine if we found out, like, we've got our own thoughts about it, that consumption of people, you know, cannibalism, we've got rumours of that kind of stuff. But could you imagine if you found out there's a party and it's got Brad Pitt, Taylor Swift. Like, who are the biggest stars in the world right now? I don't know. Robert Pattinson from Batman and bloody Prime Minister Keir Starmer and like Kanye West. Imagine there's a video of all of them doing all this stuff with kids all at once and it drops on all. Like, I can deal with it. I don't think your average Joe can.
Go.
I don't.
It's going to be a long time before we get all the data out of that. It's not going away, even if
it's like
there's
a horror
additional
film.
Documents released by the Department of Justice. 3 million documents is going to take a long time to go through.
It certainly will be. Mick, thanks for your time. See you soon.
Lord Ali, wouldn't surprise me. Well, we'll continue on anyway. Let's see. Yeah, she says all the files are released, but I think we all know that that's not true. Right, let's get to the next one. Right, I'll tell you what, we'll jump straight into some of this. I wanted to read this because, again, I expect a lot of you have seen this already, but if you haven't, then we'll go for it together now. So this is the Epstein files fallout. This is from yesterday. Key points: the recent release of the Department of Justice, millions of pages of documents, blah, blah, blah. But it's got some names here. And this kind of paints a picture of some of the people that have been removed from their positions. But this doesn't leave me happy because, Weinstein's definitely, that's what I'm saying. Even the DOJ says that there's another half to be released. Yeah, but they won't release it, Janice. I hope they do, but I don't have much faith. So anyway, the fallout from the Epstein files and people mentioned in them has even imperilled the government of the United Kingdom, Prime Minister Keir Starmer, even though the Labour Party leader never knew Epstein. So it might have just been emails or discussing him. Epstein, who cultivated relationships with many rich and powerful men and women, pleaded guilty in 2008, which we all know. This is just kind of a history lesson. We don't need that. So these three people here, it's got Sultan Ahmed bin Saliem, Catherine Rumler, and Brad Karp. They passed an act to release the files. Well, I hope they do. So the first person there in those photos, Sultan Ahmed bin Saliem, CEO of DP World, which I don't know, he resigned as the CEO of Dubai's largest port operator on February the 13th, which was 2 days ago, after leading the company for 10 years. Documents shown Epstein once referring to him, that man, in that image as one of his most trusted friends. So he's 100% involved. CNBC has reached out to the government of Dubai Media Office and DP World seeking comment from Suliem, who has to date not issued a statement on the situation. So what's going to happen is basically these people will vanish. I mean, you're talking about someone who's probably a billionaire. He's just going to vanish. He'll shave his head, get surgery, and you'll never hear from him again. He's not going to go to jail. That's the problem. They're resigning from their positions. They're not going to go on trial. It's through Handy Mandy. Hi everyone, drop a like listening while cooking in the kitchen. Glad to hear it, Scotland Scorpion. Well, I'll keep it moving for you. Let us know what you're cooking. Next up is Catherine Rumler, Chief Legal Officer and General Counsel at Goldman Sachs. Rumler, a former White House counsel under the then President Barack Obama, announced her resignation from Goldman Sachs on February the 12th. Again, another person stepping back. You know? That's 4 days ago. Effective at the end of June this year. Last week, the Wall Street Journal reported that Rumler was one of 3 people Epstein called when he was arrested in July 2019. So again, that's 2 already. 1 from Dubai, 1 here, Goldman Sachs. They should be on trial then, because there's clearly something there. She once thanked Epstein after receiving luxury gifts from him, calling him Uncle Jeffrey. Ugh. Rumler told the Journal in January, "As I have said, I regret ever knowing him, and I have enormous sympathy for the victims of Epstein's crimes." I regret ever knowing him. Well, that doesn't make sense, because if you took a call and you was still contacting him in 2019 and you stayed in your position and didn't tell anyone that you had contact with him and kept it quiet, then you're only saying that you regret it because it's public knowledge. Next up, Brad Karp, chairman of Paul Weiss. Karp resigned as chairman of Paul Weiss. I don't know what that is, actually. Oh, sorry, it's, it says it there. After leading the major corporate law firm since 2008. Files show Karp thanking Epstein for a once-in-a-lifetime evening in 2015 and asking if he could help his son land a job on a Woody Allen film in 2016. Days before he resigned, Paul Weiss issued a statement to the New York Times saying, Mr. Karp attended 2 group dinners in New York City and had a small number of social interactions by email, all of which he regrets. Well, I think there's more to it than that. And here they come. The Grim Reaper and Bill Clinton. Sorry. It's no laughing matter. David Gertner, Yale University computer science professor. I guess that's him on the left there with the glasses. Was barred from teaching classes at Yale on the February the 11th this year as the university conducts a review of his relationship with Epstein. So why are they all backing down? If for example, the DOJ is not going to release anything and tie these people to the incidents, why are they leaving their jobs then? If they're not guilty of anything, why are they leaving? Because we know, or maybe maybe they are going to go after him. I hope so. Email communications with Epstein, which included one 2011 missive in which the professor recommended a Yale student for a project, referring to her as a small, good-looking blonde. Okay. Gertner has not responded to CNBC's request for comment after Yale have taken action. Everybody wants to see the arrest being made, but I don't think it will have happened, says Derek. Then the ball's in our court, says Vienna. I know. Bart Sneed says they won't do F-all, apparently, sadly. Best to fade back into the shadows. That's what's going to happen, Rex. And they're afraid of what the public would do to them. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Won't be able to walk anywhere down the streets because of, yeah. Next up, Bill Clinton, former US president. Clinton flew on Epstein's private plane multiple times in 2002 and 2003 and was photographed in casual social settings with Epstein and the sex offender's now convicted procurer, Ghislaine Maxwell. For those of you in the United States, you see people like Asmund Gold and a few others that talk about this. It's not Ghislaine, it's not Ghislaine, it's not Ghislaine, it's Ghislaine. So look at it like Goo Goo Gaga, Ghislaine. So it's Ghislaine Maxwell. Why it's said like that, I don't know, but that's how her name is said. Ghislaine Maxwell. Clinton initially resisted a subpoena by the House Oversight Committee to testify about Epstein, but agreed to appear after it threatened to hold him in contempt of Congress. Clinton is due to testify on February the 27th. Clinton's spokesman in 2019 issued a statement saying President Clinton knows nothing about the terrible crimes Jeffrey Epstein pleaded guilty to in Florida some years ago. Well, I think that's a load of nonsense because we've seen him various times in various pictures in very, very uncomfortable positions. That's just what I'll say. They are stepping down to get the cushy payouts before they are pushed, says Leanne. I agree with that. She was born in France, Ghislaine. That's why it's pronounced like that. I don't know. Yeah, Robert Maxwell. I remember him. He kind of vanished, didn't he? Again, tied to this probably. Where were we? Clinton on February the 7th retweeted a post from his spokesman that said what DOJ has released thus far and the manner in which it has done so makes one thing clear. Someone or something is being protected. We don't know who, what or why. We do know this. We need no such protection. It's why only the Clintons have called for a public hearing. I don't think that, people on the left might trust the Clintons. I don't, When sort of 100 people have just sort of gone missing and died under working for the Clintons, it's a bit suspect, isn't it? Oh, someone's gone for a walk. Oh, no, his head fell off, We heard that story too many times. So I wouldn't trust them either as far as I can throw. Hillary Clinton, who is married to the former president, has said she does not recall ever speaking to Epstein. Okay, love. Despite that, the House Oversight Committee subpoenaed her to testify for its inquiry into the predator. Like former President Clinton, the former Secretary of State initially refused to appear, but then agreed to testify on February the 26th. So we can cover that in 10 days. One of you will have to remind me. After being threatened with a contempt finding, speaking at the Munich Security Conference on February the 14th, which we covered yesterday, Clinton again called for the release of all the Epstein files, saying it is something that needs to be totally transparent. But are they just saying this in front of the cameras, you know? The Independent in the United Kingdom reported, I've called for many, many years for everything to be out there so people can not only see what's in them, but also, if appropriate, hold people accountable. We'll see what happens, she says. Again, it's all smoke and mirrors, isn't it? So Peter Mandelson on the left there, Morgan McSweeney and Larry Summers. See, this just goes on and on and on. So again, we'll continue this another time from that perspective we got to there. So I'll remember that. I want to actually see if we search for Donald Trump, for example, what comes up, because I haven't, you know, I've looked briefly. Let's just see what happens. It's got 4,727 results. Again, these are all emails, it looks like. Let's have a look. Exactly. Bernie's like a Mark Twain or Lafayette teacher from Brooklyn back in the 60s and the 70s. I love old Bernie, wish he wasn't a damn socialist. He probably reminds you of your social studies teacher from Lafayette High. You see what I mean? So when people are mentioned, look, get Hillary the hell out. That might, I don't know. That might be the only time that she's ever been in any of this. But she's mentioned, so she's labelled. So, and there's nothing here, at this stage here that I've read. Let's see. Anyway, I openly and proudly support Trump. This is from Philip Kafka. I've actually been able to pull people away from Hillary by saying only vote for Trump or Sanders, citing that everyone else is establishment politics. I'm going to sneeze. Oh my goodness. Wow. Where did that come from? I told you, man, it's hay fever coming, or I'm getting a cold. I'm going to do it again. Oh my God. Sorry. Wow. I apologise. Yeah, bless me. Thank you. Oh, she did do a browser delete. Yeah, she deleted a lot of the emails as well. Oh my goodness. I feel like I was going to take off. I feel like Mary Poppins. Oh my gosh. I'll tell you what, while I'm sneezing for a bit, let's watch a video. I'm going to sneeze again. Woo! Sorry. Let's find something we can... Oh my goodness. Right. I'll tell you what we can watch. I want to watch this with Tom Homan about this.
DHS funding is at the center of a long-running feud on Capitol Hill.
Sorry about this.
Officially expired, stalling thanks
How
to
you doing, Gareth?
Democrats who are demanding ICE unmask, new warrant requirements, and ending roving patrols, even as one of their own says that this has all gone way too far.
I think we need to call it for what it is.
Secretary
There is
Clinton.
a legitimate reason to have a debate about things like migration.
About migration, yeah. So this was yesterday in or over the weekend in Munich, and yeah. Oh my goodness. But she was called out by the Poland Prime Minister or President about migration, and she backed down from this, which is hilarious because they're the people that caused all of the, you know, the open borders in America. Cheers, Derek.
It went too far. It's been disruptive and destabilizing, and it needs to be fixed in a humane way with secure borders that don't torture and kill people, and how we're going to have a strong family structure, because it is at the base.
It went too far, she says. Border Czar Tom Homan joins us now.
But they're the ones that done it.
Thank you for joining us, Tom. And, you know, it's
Crazy,
interesting to hear Hillary Clinton now come out and say
AI?
that the Biden open border crisis
AI,
was
maybe.
exactly that. It went too far. It was disruptive and needed to be fixed. which the Trump administration is now attempting to do.
Well, look, you're exactly right, Griff. We heard for 4 years the border is secure, where over 10 million illegal aliens crossed the border and released in this country. Not
10 million?
vetted. President Trump has given us the most secure border in the history of the nation. He
That's
did that
insane
like 7
numbers.
weeks, right? And when he did that, look at the thousands of lives he's saving, Griff. You've been down there plenty of times. You know, we don't have children drowning in the river. We don't have historic sex trafficking, women and children coming across the border. We don't have historic numbers of Americans dying from fentanyl comes across the open border. We don't have 400 plus national security threats from terrorist-related countries coming across the border. President Trump is a game changer, gave us the most secure border in a lifetime. We got record numbers of deportations of illegal aliens in this country, with the vast majority being criminals. We're doing all the right things.
Well, and you just concluded the operation in Minneapolis, Operation Metro Surge, which you have touted as a success. Why is it a success, and why is it that Democrats, like those in the state of Minnesota, have trouble understanding exactly that success?
Look, it's a great success, but I don't expect any politician from that state to say, President Trump, congratulations, did a good job. Tom Homan did a good job. Bottom line is President Trump sent me up there to de-escalate, get state and local cooperation,
Well, he's done that,
and
hasn't
stop
he?
being a sanctuary state.
That's true. He must be good at his job in a way, because he did. He had the shooting and hiya, Robert, Liverpool, how you doing? Yeah, he must be doing a good job, because that's gone quiet in Minnesota, hasn't
Arrest
it?
illegal aliens with a focus on criminals. Over 4,000 arrests, done. De-escalation, done.
Yep. You don't mess around.
Collaboration and cooperation with the prisons and the counties, done. When we leave Minnesota, it's a much safer city because we arrested 14 illegal aliens with homicide convictions, 87 sexual assaults, mostly of children, and just a lot of criminal aliens, public safety threats we removed from the streets. It's a great success, and the men and women who carry that badge and gun for ICE, it's safer for them because they can arrest a public safety threat at a jail premise rather than going on the street and trying to arrest them on their turf where they have access to who knows what weapons. In Minnesota,
Species says the open borders activists made checkpoints to make sure they knew who was coming and going. More than likely, and it's the same as we've got happening in the United Kingdom. Speaking of which, I want to show you some stuff from over here at the moment. We need this in the UK. I'm with you, Robert. I'm with you completely. I want to go through some of the bits that's happening over here. Again, videos from today that I've kind of saved, and I thought we could watch them together. It says, brave ex-Muslim woman speaks up about Islamophobia, because this is what we've got happening in the UK. Here we go.
Quranic verses like 434, which talk about wife beating, is the reason why I left. Now, I left 20 years ago, but only recently came out as an ex-Muslim. And what I hear time and time again is, you're an Islamophobe now, you're an Islamophobe. It must be your culture, it wasn't your religion, it must be your trauma, it has nothing to do with my religion. All I want to say that if the extremists are snakes, then the liberal Muslims are the grass they hide behind. So
wow,
we need space. And I guess
And a lot of the thing is, people don't understand as well. A lot of women like this don't speak out from the Muslim community or ex-Muslim community because they will have a target on their heads. We've seen it with a content creator in the United Kingdom, Candid, C-A-N-D-I-D, Candid with Lubna, L-U-B-N-A. She was living in Leeds in the UK, and because she spoke out just like this, she was getting death threats and everything to her family because she called out the grooming gangs in the United Kingdom. So if they're not going to be able to speak out against these things, it's rife, all of this stuff.
question is that the word Islamophobia is a back entrance blasphemy policy, that if I was in Pakistan, I would have been arrested and probably raped or killed for my views. I guess I'm in the UK, and my fear right now is that the word Islamophobia is used to shut people like myself down. In terms of...
And the government at the moment are pushing this new definition of Islamophobia, which has been under wraps for the last year. So they haven't actually defined what it is yet. And over the last 24 hours, they've said they've got the definition of what it is. However, we've got a local council elections, not the prime ministers, but local councils, your local areas. And they've said today they're not going to release the definition of Islamophobia till after the elections. I wonder why that is. It's because it's going to piss off everyone in this country and they don't want to lose seats in those elections. If you're not telling me that that's corrupt, I'll show you it after this, actually.
Polls and evidence, you wouldn't find us in those polls and evidence because we're too scared. We're too scared because our families will disown us, our society will disown us, and we should be, technically, by the Quran, beheaded for our views.
Greg, who's Greg? What's Greg saying? Greg's, let me just find this article because I want to sort of refer it to it so it doesn't sound like I've just made that up. Pardon me, Islamophobia definition suspended till after elections. Let me just type that in and see if I can find the article because I was reading an article earlier today about it. Let's see, news. Right, here we go. So this is in Manchester. We covered this yesterday, actually. Labour's Islamophobia definition to be delayed. Oh, thank God for that. This is from the Telegraph, right? So they've got a definition of what this is going to be to upset Muslims. I know, it's crazy. Ministers are set to delay the publication of controversial Islamophobia definition until after the Gorton and Denton by-election because they are worried about the Muslim fallout. So if that's not corrupt, I don't know what is. So you're not going to do something because you want to try and make sure that you win seats beforehand, and then afterwards you'll do it and deal with the fallout, but it doesn't matter because you've won. Like, come on. You know what I mean? It's disgusting, isn't it? That shows you, and the government, they're literally telling you that they're dishonest. Here's another one. This is the Mayor of London. The UK government has awarded the British Muslim Trust 2.6 million of your money to combat Islamophobia. No one asked for this, but they're just forcing it on people. It's crap.
Things. For many British Muslims, these are deeply worrying times. That's...
Well, I'll have to mute the music because it's got Hans Zimmer playing. It's such an important moment. The British Muslim Treasury supporting victims of anti-Muslim hate. It's absolute rubbish. You know what I mean? It's absolute rubbish. But this is what we're fighting against in England. This is what we're dealing with in England. That comes first. No anti-Jewish anything, no anti-Christian anything, none of that. It's crap. Keir Starmer, delays the Islamophobia law until after the election. As I say, this is coming up in May. There's no such thing as a British Muslim. Don't be donkeys. They is the South. I lived there and saw it. Gavin, they have imported half the third world for votes. This is nothing. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Another church has been torched in Scotland. I believe this was last night. All the stuff you don't really see on too much mainstream news, you know. But again, do we know done this? I'm not going to say I know or don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you, Ronnie. Yes, there's another incident in the UK. It's crazy. Here we go. If you need a reason to vote reform, this is it. Oh, here we go. This is Narinder Kaur has stated her intention to move back to India if Reform UK leader becomes Prime Minister. I will go back to India. I've already been looking at property there. Again, nothing to do with race, and I don't normally do this on the channel, but if she does decide to leave, good. Fuck off, Narinder. Sorry about the language. I don't like her.
So,
have you?
Yeah, because
Nigel Farage.
I don't think he will come into power at all. I think he'll be finished by another year. And I think, but if he does, if you're asking that question, I'm looking at property in India. I'll be gone. I'm going to leave the country, and I've said it on air.
I don't know one Christian. Okay, let's just educate you a little bit there, fella. Let's just educate you there a little bit, fella. Gifted Gaz, 78. I don't know one Christian, so stop saying we are all Christians. Do you know how the laws were built in this country? Parliament. Have you been inside Parliament and seen it? Have you seen Big Ben? Inside of Big Ben? The foundations and everything in this country is built upon Christianity. That is what it is. It doesn't matter what you say or whether you follow it or whether you don't. That is what this nation is built upon. Christian values. Look at Rena Brown saying no. Look at that. Well, I'm sorry you don't like it. That's how it is, and it's never going to change. If people from this ideology keep pushing, then you're just going to end up with another flipping what happened all those years ago. And if that's what you want, that's what's going to be. I don't want that to happen because there'll be a lot of blood on the streets. I don't think that's very wise, do you? But no one will win. Yeah, you're right. The Islamists, the extremists need to go. Yeah, I heard about that. I see that yesterday, Tony. Sorry, I forgot to report that yesterday. Right, so let's get back to the next one. Here's Starmer again. This is our supposed leader. Here we go. Oh, honey, I believe in Christianity. So do I. All day.
For children and young people, and that's social media. Now, confession: I have 2 teenage children. My boy is 17 and my girl is 15. So I see this in the way many, many parents do, with a real sense of concern about the time that's spent on...
So basically, for those of you that haven't seen this, he's looking to ban social media for under 16s, then ban VPNs for people under the age of 16. Followed by that, next in line, is to allow people at the age of 16 vote for the next Prime Minister. Well, how can you vote if you're not even in full-time employment yet? You're not allowed to go on social media to discuss politics to see what's going on. Where are they going to get the news? The BBC. Who controls the BBC? You see what I mean? If you're not telling me this isn't corrupt, like, hello?
Social media, the content that's available on social media, the addictive nature of a lot of what's happening on social media, the way it draws children in and takes away other aspects of their growing up because it's all online, it's all on their phones or their screens in front of them. I don't think there's a parent in the country who isn't worried about this, by the way. I really don't. Everybody's worried.
No, there's a difference. There's a difference between the rule of protecting children and there's a rule of a dictatorship. He wants to ban VPNs for under 16s. So let's just say all of us now, 100 of us here, say we all use a VPN. And we all delete our app, it's gone. And all of us right now, you know, like you see YouTubers go, oh, get, what's it called again? ExpressVPN or this VPN. Get it now, right. So say I've just promoted it now and every single one of you go and click on it. All of you adults download it and you want to start using a VPN. How is it going to know that you're over 16? The only way to know is to give it your passport and your digital ID. That's what he's trying to do. So it's nothing to do. What the fuck does VPN to do with kids? No kids use VPNs. Kids don't do it.
And they feel, how am I supposed to police this on my own as a parent?
So this is about getting digital ID by the back door. That's what this is all about. This is not about protecting children.
Very, very difficult. And we as a government need to be up there alongside parents, providing leadership and support for them when it comes to social media. And we will. Now, we've already announced that we're going to do a consultation on banning social media for under 16s.
Right. So listen to what he's just said. On that principle, you can kind of go, okay, if I'm going to go along with him and go, right, he's going to ban social media for under 16, so Facebook, TikTok, X, especially X, because it's not his political view, Instagram and all of that. Then they're looking to push them to be allowed to vote in the country. How can they have open discussions with like you guys coming on here or someone else's channel or someone on TikTok to see what other people their age think? How can they have open discussion with people? They can't. They can only go onto the BBC or Sky or wherever you are. You have to get your news from them. Do you trust them? No, because they're liars. That's what he wants, that control. And if you can control what they think, you can control how they vote.
And that will start very soon. But I'm really clear.
I like that, Leanne. Very well said.
As they are now is not good enough. nobody can make the argument that things can be left as they are. They can't. They're not protective of children.
Oh, they're looking to do that also, Vic. They're looking to make it against the law in this country to have a social media account without your real name. The guns wouldn't have saved it. Hello, Luke Butter. How you doing, Jingle? The guns wouldn't have saved it. But it is concerning. It is concerning. I think he's the most dangerous Prime Minister we've had in my lifetime. I know, Fraz, it's crazy. I'm good, Luke. How you doing, bro?
We intend to act. But what we're doing now is taking the powers available to make sure at the end of that consultation we can move really fast. Because what can happen with governments, you saw it with the last government, we had an Online Safety Act.
Yeah, but I agree to what you're saying. I'll tell you what, let's put a poll up because Vic's asked a very good question there. I'm going to put a poll up in the... let me just sort this out a second. I'll move that over there and we'll... move that over there. Oh, I'm going to put a poll in the chat and I'd like you all to answer it. I'm just going to carry on with this video and I'll do it now.
Which is good because it restricts what's available online. The trouble is it took 8 years from the original idea to get to an outcome. We can't have 8 years when it comes to social media and whether we ban it or massive restrictions in place. So we've taken the powers now, we're taking the powers to make sure we can act within months, not years. We also need to act very quickly, not just on the age concern, but on the devices.
Let's get your views, boys and girls. Click on that.
Sort of
yes or no? Should we ban anonymous accounts on social media so you have to be your full name, your face, everything? Do you want that on social media or not?
Constant gluing to the machine that you can never stop scrolling and it just encourages you, or that one thing follows from another. We have to break that habit to stop the addictive nature. We also need to do with AI bots. This is something relatively new. And we saw with Grok, did you see the thing with Grok just the other week? An AI bot that allowed you to instruct it to...
Yes, but that's... Yes, the AI bot, again, you've all probably heard this, but I'll just do a quick recap. The bot was able to take photos of any person that you like and regenerate that image of the person in no clothing or, you know, something like that. So it's disrespectful to women especially. But Elon Musk has since come forward, and I do believe that has been banned and they've changed the process and everything else, so it cannot be done on X. Now, the problem with that, and shows you what a snake this man is, every other social media platform that can do that in terms of an AI-generated bot, they can all still do it. So if you went onto another one and created that image, you could just upload it to social media, just create it somewhere else. So why has he only gone after X? Because X is the only platform that doesn't comply and do what it's told by him. The guy's a nutter.
Undress people. And it did. It was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And we went into battle on that because I thought this is not good enough. We went into battle. We made the necessary steps. We threatened...
No, I agree with protecting children. I understand a lot of you are sitting here going, how can you say this? No, I'm not against protecting children. We're all for protecting children from the harms of the world. But I'm saying his main aim is not that. He's claiming that that's his aim. It isn't. His main aim is to get digital ID of every single person in this country. Like the Home Secretary, Shabana Mahmood, has just released a statement where she was interviewed and someone that was coming out of prison, instead of seeing his corrections officer, his corrections officer every week, his face has been put into the system, so every single camera now of all these cameras they're putting up can digitally track him the second he leaves his house. So her words, being outside of the prison for this ex-prisoner, this ex-convict, will be no different from him being behind bars because we will be able to watch him. That is what she said, not me. That is what she said about a prisoner. So a prisoner comes out, his face is put into the system, every single camera that is up in the streets around the United Kingdom will be able to track him step by step. And she said, so she's basically saying outside of prison will be the same as inside of the prison for this prisoner. What difference does that make to us? So she's literally saying it without saying it. We're all going to be inside a fucking prison outside. You understand what I'm saying? Everyone could be tracked. No, I don't want you looking at... Fuck you. You've got no right to... No. That's no different from being a fucking peeping Tom. I get it for criminals. If you've got to find a criminal, here's a picture, let's try and find him. Cool. But I don't believe I gave anyone permission to track my every single step and what I do. If someone comes to me, I'll just pull my trousers down and take a crap on the sidewalk. Go away.
Action. And we won that battle in relation to God.
Exactly.
We've got to do it with all...
She's saying she has no problem treating everybody as if they are criminal before they are. Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Thank you, Critical.
AI bots, and we will do it. And we can do that by amending some of the legislation that we've already got in place.
No, we've only got one chat going, 7, but that's our wonderful, great leader. Rex says it's going to end up like Cuba, but just shit with her. What do you think Blair meant by cradle to the grave? Well, yeah. We can all wear a burqa. That's a good... How funny is that? So we're all going to be tracked with digital IDs and cameras tracking us by facial recognition. I can't put on a mask because it's... I don't know, we can't do it. We're not allowed to do it in this country. Walk around with a fucking balaclava on because we might burgle someone, but someone could put on a burqa. Let's all start wearing burqas. You're completely right, Matt. Marty Maths, you're completely right. We'll all start wearing a burqa. And if they say anything, I'll just say you're racist. I'm not white, I'm a black Nigerian. That's how stupid it's becoming. Here we go. This is from Muslims kick out a Christian street preacher in Whitechapel. Whitechapel in London is next to Aldgate, Liverpool Street, and Stepney Green, Bethnal Green, and two or three stops from like Oxford Street, Tottenham Court Road, so the centre of London. So this is probably like 5 to 10 minutes from the centre of London. Here we go.
Friends, we forgive you. Forgive you, my friends. We love you. Love your soul. Why you touch Muhammad? Love you, my friends. Love you, my friends. Look, a lot of people. Say something. My friends, we come to... Say something. You're making a scene.
Is he calling the police or something? So imagine white Christians in their own country told that they cannot do what they want to do in their own homeland by people like this. Now, if you want to talk about Islamophobia and everything, you came to this country, you adapt to our way of life or fuck off. That's how I feel. That's not racist. This is England. This is our home.
Come and love for you, my friends. We forgive you. Forgive you, my friends. We love you. Love your soul. Why you touch Muhammad? Love you, my friends. Love you, my friends. Look, a lot of people. Say something.
I don't care, and I don't care if it offends you. So they was doing a March for Jesus about a month, 6 weeks ago, and it was supposed to go through this area. A March for Jesus. It was just people that are Christians, English people, wanted to march through this area. And it's not a march, it's just a walk. You've got every right to do that. They were told they weren't allowed to do it, and it was moved from this area, Whitechapel, because it would have offended the locals. So Christian English people cannot go here in their own country because it might offend Muslims. Let that sink in. That is the reality.
You're making a scene.
And ask yourselves the question. Ask yourselves the question. Who is the one out of all of these that always gets violent? Is it the Christians? And this isn't to try and encourage hate or anything. I'm just stating this is what's happening. I'm not saying it's good, I'm not saying it's bad. I have to say that because I have to be careful on it. So I'm not saying this is good, I'm not saying it's bad. But this is England. English people should come first. The priorities of the English people should come before everything and everyone.
Look at
this.
Come and love for you, my friends. We forgive you. Forgive you, my friends. We love you. Love your soul.
See, but the thing is, we need to show this more. We need to call this out. It needs to be in people's faces because for too long we've ignored this. For too long we've accepted this is okay. If, for example, this was a Christian area and it was black, white, brown Christians, and someone was coming to preach Islam or Hinduism or Buddhism, I wouldn't care. I genuinely wouldn't care. Because, no, it's not being a bigot. It's just saying as it is. Because Buddhists wouldn't cause any problem. We see Buddhists in Chinatown. Think about it. Every time we're in London, in Chinatown, when we're sitting down, you can hear them banging their drums, the Buddhists. And they come marching down with like their shaved heads and a bit of the hair at the back, all dressed up, you know, Buddhists. They chant, go through, and people clap them as they're going past, like they go on, march down the road doing their thing. No problem. I've got no problem with it. They don't cause me any problem. They do their thing, bit of noise, a bit of a dance in the street, and they move on. No problem. That's how it should be. This is not that.
Look, a lot of people say something about this.
Crazy, isn't it?
You're making a scene.
I think he said you said the name Mohammed or something. So in England you can't do that because it's going to offend someone. This is when they're saying they're putting an Islamophobia law. It will be things like that. This particular faith will be able to do and say whatever the fuck they want. If you disagree with it or say anything in particular, they can get you arrested because you've said something that offends them. This is how backwards this country's going. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. It's crazy, isn't it? Anyway, I wanted to get a good look at that. Seems like most people have forgotten who killed Jesus. Okay. Okay. Islamophobia is a made-up word. Palestine is a made-up country, says Brigitte Gabriel. I'm sure that'll go down like a sack of shit. Right, next one. Look at this sausage. You can't define trans woman. I'm not a doctor. Do you need doctor tell... you do need a doctor to tell male from female? I don't even... Let's just listen. I've got no idea. Let's have a listen.
So do you think that women should have the right to get undressed away from men?
Yes.
Away from, if you're talking about trans women, then they're not men.
Why aren't they men?
Because they're a trans woman.
And what is it?
So it's what...
So it's a bloke again telling a woman what a woman should be allowed to do. You absolute wally.
You're asking...
Pontius Pilate,
do women
legend.
feel unsafe in those areas?
No, I'm asking what's a trans woman?
What is a trans woman? I'm not a doctor.
But you're here in support of trans women, but you don't know what they are.
Well, a trans woman is believe the women. Like I don't.
Do you believe women who don't want to get undressed?
Believe the women. So if you want to know what I'm saying, if you want to know why the world, and especially the Western culture, is going so down the toilet, it's because of universities and colleges all around Europe has breeded this kind of absolute bullshit.
But do you believe they're discriminated?
I think what you're asking is a loaded question, because I think you're asking me if women want to get undressed in front of men. But if you're asking me if they want to get in front of and dressed around...
I'm not being funny, right? I'm saying this for any women that are watching, yeah? Or fellas, if you've got kids. Could you imagine, yeah? Could you imagine you're at Disney, because we all know Disney. Say you're at Disney theme park and it's the summer holidays and you've got your cousins, your missus and everything else. Let's just say you've got two little girls. One of them is 6 and she's taking the 3-year-old into the toilet. You're getting the hot dogs. The missus is there. You're just waiting. The toilet's right there. Then you see me walk along like this as me, and I walk in after your little children. How do you feel? I wouldn't allow it. I wouldn't allow it. I would step in. I would not allow that. I'm sorry. No.
Trans women, then I don't think that that's something to be fearful of. Like, why should somebody be fearful of somebody that's just trying to use the same changing room as somebody else? And they also want to get undressed in a safe space. Sure. So why is that a problem? What's the issue?
Well,
how can you not know? I don't understand. How can you not understand that a biological woman doesn't want someone with a pair of bollocks? Like, a woman does not want to go into into a gym and go swimming or do a workout, all sweating, getting in a shower, and then see me walking along with a towel and a hairy chest and saying, "Hi, I'm Sarah." Women don't want that.
Okay. Are they doctors?
Do you need to be a doctor to know whether someone's male or female?
I'm not a doctor. I can't answer that question.
It's bizarre. It's absolutely flipping bizarre. Midwife Union Edinburgh said men give birth. England says cousin marriage is a good thing. Times have changed. I know. I think, do you know what? I've been thinking about this for the last 6 months or so. I think England might be becoming one of the most woke places on planet Earth. Like 10 years ago, when Trump first got in and Jordan Peterson become such a big social superstar, if you like, in terms of growing his fan base. I remember Jordan Peterson doing the college campuses, and these discussions were had in America 10 years ago, the trans ideology, call me sir, call me ma'am, and all of this stuff. We're now becoming that. We weren't like this before, but it's becoming like that over here. We're like 10 years behind.
I feel like being seen with a white man would be so bad for my brand. Not even romantically, just in general.
What's your brand? Fat bitch.
I won't be elaborating on that statement. Bye. I feel like being seen...
What a detestable, detestable woman. Right, okay, next up. What's this one? Patience isn't my greatest virtue. Technology Secretary Liz Kendall tells BBC Breakfast we need to move swiftly when asked whether to ban social media for under 16s could be introduced this year. So this is that thing Starmer was going on about. So let's hear what she says.
You're beginning this consultation into potentially a ban on social media for under 16s. How swiftly could that come into effect? I mean, there's some suggestion in the papers this morning we could see that by the end of the year. Is that right?
Yes, we will definitely come forward with our proposals before the summer. We want to get the legislation right, whatever we decide to do in the end. But patience isn't my greatest virtue. But that's because the public, parents are dealing with this right now. We've already taken some important action. One of my first acts as Secretary of State was to make self-harm.
Kendall Elope says, what the F? Keep your gross thoughts to yourself. Why? I thought this was my channel and I thought I could say what I like. I thought we were allowed to have open debate here.
Suicide, a priority offence under the Online Safety Act. We have taken action to clamp down on things like cyber flashing. We need to move swiftly.
That I agree with. That's what I'm trying to say. If it's something that's of immediate threat, sorry, Kendall, my apologies. If it's something of immediate threat, like flashing people, of course, I agree with that. Of course.
That is what is happening in the real world. And the Prime Minister is also really determined to do everything possible to support families.
To support families and turn the country into a dictatorship.
Just last week,
North Korea of the United Kingdom.
Have struggled with talking to their kids about what they're seeing online, trying to think about how to talk to them, make sure that they understand the risks. Last week we published, a big toolkit to help parents ask those questions. If you just search kids safety online, that will come up because we want to support parents. I know that families are already talking about, look, God, when are we going to give them a phone? Are we going to give them the phone? What should we do? What can we do to put those protections in place? We're helping families now, but we also know we need to go further and we need to go faster.
Well, she sounds like a bit of a lovely one, don't she? I would know. I worked in comedy for 10 years, says Candelope. Government is making a gimp of me. Well, there's no such thing as British values or Judeo-Christian values. Wow. I've decided I support Low, but I'm voting Reform or the country will be effed. Just watch the effing video. Sorry, Jay, I didn't realise you was my mum. Wowza. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over to a video now. I want you all to stay. I'm going to join you in chat on the video. So join me there now, because this is about a terror plot that's unearthed in the United Kingdom. And it's actually quite disturbing. We've had AK-47s and stuff like that brought into the United Kingdom. And we've got a video dropping in 2 minutes. So we're going to head over there now. And I will join you in chat. We'll be back again doing this tomorrow at around 3 p.m. But until then, join me right now in the next video. The link is in the description as well if you want to join me there now. I'm going to be